Am I gonna have issues? Nope, it's... Oh, spoke too soon. It was green for a second and then it nosedived. I don't know, I think we're stable. Cool, it's green. Oh my god. It looks like I'm gonna actually have a stream that's not choppy. Cool. Well, I'm gonna pull up the chat and see if anyone is joining us thus far. Say hi, Mark.
Hi.
Hi. Oh. Ooh. Hi, Black Wolf. Cool. Alright. While I'm waiting for people to join in on the madness, I'm going to talk a little bit about, what should I talk about? It says 0 people are here. I should talk about what we went through last night. All of the strife and suffering that took place. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking to me?
Oh, yeah.
I'm in my own world.
Oh, sorry. Then I will...
Ask the question again.
Oh, I don't know. What did we do last night for a good amount of quality time together?
I watched Sabrina.
Oh, you watched Sabrina.
You watched it. You stood next to the TV like you weren't watching it, and you watched it.
That's not what I meant. I meant the more messy thing that we did that wasn't very fun.
What? Messy thing? What did you do with messy?
Okay, so it's spring here in Vegas, and one of the things that happens every spring for some reason is our front door gets like overrun by these tiny little winged creatures that I hate. They're not gnats, I don't know.
They're like little flies.
They're like micro flies.
There's a million of them.
Yes. Except they don't fly very well. They kind of...
I don't think they're termites, because termites have a longer body. I was thinking maybe there's a termite mound under my house, but they don't look like termites. They just look like flies that hatch out of the soil that happens to be next to the door.
Yes.
It happens every year.
And it's awful.
And there's a billion of them on the front door. So when you open the door, all these flies come in the house.
Yes, and they attack your body, and they hit your face, and they get in your hair, and you scream, and you want to, like, run into a flaming building.
So I coated the front door with Raid.
Oh, and also
twice.
the window in the bedroom that we sleep in, it's having the same problem. So I think they just want to get in to the house for some reason, because they attack the entrances, the vulnerable entrances. So they like managed to get into the bedroom, but I sleep on the side of the room closest to the window. So I was like living with these things.
Yeah, that's an old window and it has gaps in it.
Yeah, it has gaps in the weather strip. So yeah. So I was not last night, but the night before, I felt like I had things crawling on me all night, and it was driving me absolutely batshit. Like I have creepy crawlies thinking about it right now. So, like, I washed everything in the room, and Mark vacuumed everything in the room, and then we sprayed a bunch of Raid everywhere, and then I got to sleep in a cloud of Raid last night. So I'm here right now. I'm making a second pot of coffee as we speak, like, right before I started the stream. I made another pot of coffee, because it's been that... Sleeping has been that way for me. But anyhow, it looks like there's many of you here. I'm gonna say hi. Hi, everybody. Who's hanging out with me today? Ooh, hi, Odo Bin Naide. I totally butchered that. Badger Pig, hi, welcome back. Pulis Squalus, hi, how are you doing? James Driscoll, welcome back. How are you doing? How's everybody doing this day, morning, afternoon, and or evening? I don't even know which it is. Oh, and hello to you, Black Wolf in Brazil. So it's all different types of time zones from different parts of the world. It's kind of morning here still. Like it's I think it's 11:20 here in Las Vegas, and it is probably the nicest time of year for us right now. It is I mean, minus the bugs that I just talked about. Those are a pain in the ass, but the weather is nice. We got a massive spring thunderstorm, our first electrical storm of the year yesterday, which was kind of nice. And I'm hoping that the water washed away all the tiny little corpses of those little, like, mystery bugs, because I want them gone. I'm sure they serve their purpose in nature. Maybe our bird friends can eat them and grow fat and happy. Because all birds are welcome here, but not those little bugs. Those things can fuck right the fuck off. Or, blah. Anyhow, so let me explain what I'm doing. I mentioned that I'm doing CAD today. I'm going to be probably doing CAD for the bulk of the day in Fusion. I'm making a mounting plate for my back that's going to go across my my upper back. Not the middle of my back, because this heart backpack, that goes there, right? So it's going to mount above this thing, kind of, I don't know what you'd call that. Not that you can see this, because it's probably washed out. But it's going to sit, like, on the top of my shoulders, I guess. And the thing that is going to mount there is part of the augment I'm working on right now for the neck. I've been posting on Twitter these pictures of this weird-looking rack thing. Like, I have it. This guy. Which I'm really satisfied with how this turned out. This is one side. I'm going to be making 2 of these. And they look kind of like wings, or like racks of ribs or something. And these are banks of rack and pinion driven syringes, I guess? So they're like little pumps. So this is a bank of pumps. And this is going to mount on the top of my back, kind of like wings. So I guess I'm going to refer to this as a wing for the sake of clarity. I have to mount this solidly on the top of my back, but then I am going to be mounting a part that is, it belongs to the next augment I'm going to build for the Shibon project that has to do with the head. And something is going to mount right in the center, in between these 2 wings. And it has to mount pretty solidly, so part of this is probably going to end up being cut in aluminum, something that isn't going to crack in half. So I'm going to be deciding what of these parts that I'm building today need to be aluminum and which ones can probably get away with being plastic. Pretty much all of this that you're looking at, this rack thing, will be 3D printed and plastic. I might tweak the angle of these just for the sake of making them more interesting looking. But the stipulation with this is that the plunger of these rack and pinion does poke out. I don't know, it's maybe like 2.5, 3 inches. I don't use imperial, but shit, what would this be? You have calipers. We can figure this out rather quickly. Or did these die? No, okay. About 60 millimeters. So, these need to not collide with one another in the middle of my back. So that's one stipulation of the thing that I designed today. The other is, they can't collide with I'm gonna call it the stock mount. I'm basically going to have a stock coming out of the middle of my back. These can't collide with the stock mount either. And if I go ahead and tilt this, you can see that there's like a pretty decent amount of depth to it. As you go towards the bottom of the rack, that mounting junction can probably go in between, like in this empty space right here. And it still has to clear the plungers from the syringes up here, but they're out farther, so it probably won't be quite as big of a deal. They just need to clear something that's going to be mounted about there. But we'll see. This is going to get interesting. And it all needs to be comfortable, so this has to go on my back, and it has to actually not be a pain in the ass to wear. A lot of these augments that I'm creating are miserable to have on my body for any period of time longer than about 15 or 20 minutes, so I'm trying to be a bit more mindful of how they feel once they're on my flesh meat. So I'm going to try and be mindful of the design. Right, Mark?
Yes.
Where can I put this? This can go right here. Do you hear the coffee pot ending?
I think I did.
Okay. Would you like more coffee?
I'll have a cup. Fill me.
Coffee is life. I'm gonna, before I jump into Fusion, I'm gonna read the chat. That should be a fairly cool silhouette. Yes, it will be a cool silhouette, Badger Pig. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get those syringes angled at such a way that they do kind of look like long feathers or like a mechanical wing. So that's gonna be part of the challenge today, is making something that, yeah, it functions, it does all those things I just mentioned, like there's no interference between the parts, but I want it to, of course, look cool and be comfortable. So before I jump into CAD, actually, I'm gonna get another cup of coffee real quick, but I have my tablet out. I'm going to actually draw what I'm gonna be designing, or kind of a concept sketch of what I think I want to be designing, and then you will have a better idea of what I'm working towards, so it's not just abstract mouth words that I just spouted. But I don't know. Mark, do you want to talk about anything while I do my commercial break?
Do you want me to get the coffee?
Do you have any updates on your
No.
Your
No.
tube?
No.
Oh.
I'm in a headspace.
Okay, I'll leave you alone. Alright, I'll be right back. Sorry.
I'll get it for you.
But you don't know how much cream to put on my coffee.
Oh, sorry.
Do you want to guess?
I will put as much cream as I think you need. You just like a little bit, right?
Yeah, like a tiny little dabble.
Alright, we're gonna dabble your cream.
The cup in there? Wait, which one's my cup?
Do you want a new cup?
I don't know.
Make up your mind.
No, my cup's on the counter.
Oh, use it?
Yeah.
Then cream it. Alright.
I don't think it's the black one. Wait, one of them is from yesterday and it's disgusting. Don't... Oh god. Wait! Fuck. I'll be right back. This could be bad. Noodle. Okay, we're back. Hi. At least there's plenty of things to look at in the background. Yeah, there is, isn't there? There's like a butt and some flamingos. There's like a million things hanging on my wall. Jeez. Damn. Alright. Well, anyhow, without further ado, I've got fresh coffee. Whew, it's still hot. Oh god. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick sketch of what I'm going to attempt to do. And so, you know, I did already kind of start CADing some of this so that the more boring stuff is out of the way. That means I'm going to have to switch the camera down. It's good that I remember to do these things. So if you were looking straight on at a human being's back part, like you'd have your shoulders, the neck, there's like the spine. We'll just say that like the armpits would be about here, and then these are arms. You get the idea. You know what a back looks like. I don't know why I had to explain that. Why are you explaining this, Sarah? Okay, so armpits. So this is a back. The heart-shaped backpack, the Pulse, which is the thing next to me over my shoulder that's big and red and has a bunch of stuff going on inside of it, that ends up sitting about here, roughly, and it has straps that sit right at the crook of the shoulder, or the shoulder cap, or your bicep. That's your bicep, right? I don't know. What is this muscle? I'm a bad art student. The one that comes down.
Oh, I don't think it's a bicep.
What the hell is it? It's a. Or is this the bicep?
That is a bicep.
And then this is
the Popeye thing. This is the bicep.
And this is
You have to look it up on the internet.
Whatever.
I bet your comments already have an answer.
Somebody knows. I'm going to completely go on a limb and hope that somebody has an answer for that. So I'm not gonna look it up. It's probably even a little bit lower, like there. So, oh god. So the backpack hangs kind of low, which is actually kind of good for now. Bigger, not smaller, Sarah. It ends up hanging, as you can see, kind of, I don't know, like mid-back, I would say. It's probably at the correct length from the shoulders hanging down. I was kind of bothered by where it ended up seating after I built it, but now that I'm making other things that are going to have to go on the, around the neck and exist around my head space, I'm kind of glad that I have this sweet spot open for me to use. So the thing that I'm going to create today, there's going to, like, the most important part is about here. I have this mounting, I don't know what you'd call it. Where did I put it? Oh, it's over there. 1 second. I didn't make this. This came with the thing that I'm mounting here. It's a stock. It's a mechanical arm that I did not make. I'm saving myself a little bit of time by using something that was, I guess it's a found object at this point. It's something that I acquired and I'm going to use. But it came with this thing, this curious little shape right here. I know this is probably, it's in the small window up at the top of the screen right now, so you can't get a good view of it, but I can switch over to Fusion and show you that, there we go. I already modeled it in CAD. So this is what you're looking at right now. So this is the most important part. There's a thing that sticks inside of this hole here, and that is going to stick straight up, and everything has to not interfere with what is sticking out of this hole. But this also needs to be mounted to something, probably aluminum, so that the stock sticking up doesn't want to put pressure in any direction and cause the mounting plate to crack in half. So that's another thing that I have to be mindful of, and that's gonna be about right here. And I don't think it sticks out the bottom, it's just in this general space, and it's gonna be bolted into that hole. So one of the things that can overlap the straps are those wing pieces. They have to probably mount down somewhere here. Like, with a lot of question marks. I don't really know exactly how I'm going to be doing that. It's something I'm going to figure out today during this stream. And the way that this is mounting to the top of my back is, Mark... How do I explain this? Mark collects things.
Hoarding?
He hoards stuff. And he brought this backpack, like metal backpack assembly, home from the show that he works at. And it has these hooks. They're like literal metal hooks that come off of the back plate. And the hooks go over the shoulder, kind of like a monkey if it were hanging off of your back with like the hands like this. You know those barrel of monkeys?
Yes.
It's just like this. And they hook over the shoulder, and the backpack just sort of hangs off of, I don't know, the leverage of those hooks. So I'm going to borrow from that idea, because that's kind of low-hanging fruit. It's like the easiest to pull off. And I went ahead and I I kind of sculpted, like this is a bendy wire thing right here. So Mark bent this over my shoulder. He was a doll and helped me out by kind of making sure this form fit to my my body shape when I'm not slouching terribly. And I came up with something that looks roughly like this. It fits, or actually it would go like this. Nope, wrong way again. So it's something that would hook over my shoulder and I can wear without having to like put on a harness or do anything complicated. So now that I have this shape, this outline, I'm going to use aluminum. I'm going to go get some aluminum bar, like stock. I have some of that in the corner over there. I'm not gonna get it, you know what aluminum stock looks like. It's like a flat, long piece of just straight aluminum. The stuff that I've got is like 5 millimeters thick. I'm gonna probably get something a little bit thinner because I don't think 5 is, that's probably a bit too robust. I'll probably go with like 3 millimeter thick. That's like heavy duty. That's like if I was like carrying 60 pounds of crazy on my back. So I'm gonna bend the aluminum into roughly this shape, and then that will be kind of the point where I can mount my back plate, like all of this stuff right here, the stock in the middle, and then the 2 racks or wings of syringes are going to mount to a plate that's also going to be aluminum, and then both of these hooks, there'll be one for either shoulder, will also mount to that plate on the opposite side, and then I'll have a complete back assembly. So there will be there's gonna be a hook here and a hook here, and there's going to be a plate. And there's gonna be all sorts of hardware on this thing, and that will go beneath all the stuff, of course. So, and actually the plate, that's gonna go on top of those hooks. So, just for the sake of being very clear, the plate is going to mount on top of the hooks, not beneath it. There. So that is what we're doing today, and I have no idea how long this is going to take me. It could take like 2 seconds, and I'll be like, wow, that was easier than I thought. It resolved very well. Or I could be puzzling over this for the rest of the afternoon, and I really hope that's not the case, but who knows. So I'm gonna get rid of those because I illustrated my point. But yeah, so this is it. The eyes. And I'm gonna dip down and look at chat real quick before I go into Fusion. Hey guys. Oh man. It's a sexoskeleton. Ha! I like that.
Hardy har.
Hardy har har. Nice one, Edward. The plungers are going to extend towards the spine, and on the opposite end of the syringes there's going to be tubes coming out of them, so those are going to kind of poke out and up away in the opposite direction. If I can't pull off having them not collide with each other, like if they overlap too much, then I might end up angling them down and having the tubes poke up. It depends on how I am able to manipulate this space in a way that works for me. And again, this rack, this can change. It's just going to be roughly something like this. I'm not married to this exact design, and again, this is kind of a large footprint to try and manage on a small portion of my body, so it is probably likely to change at this point. And then, yeah, like, they don't have to be, like, all on one axis like this either. I can probably fan them out as well, so that they look a little bit more like natural feathers spread out in, like, a fan, so that they're rotated on multiple axes instead of just staggered and offset like this. We'll see. Kim says, I think that's what the massage therapist said when she was commenting on the tension. Haha. For extended wear, I think the harness needs to be supported more for your hips rather than shoulders. Be supported from... Yeah, you're right. I mean, one of the things I did build last year that left a lot to be improved on was this. It was a papoose for Noodle. And a Noodle Feet, my robot, weighs about 10 pounds. So he's not particularly heavy, but I didn't build the papoose in such a way that it transferred his weight to my core. A lot of that weight was just on my back on this portion that I'm talking about right now. And after about a half an hour of carrying him around, my whole back and shoulder area was just in agony because it was just pulling straight down on my neck, basically. So I needed to tweak the harness in such a way that there was more gripping onto my core, and it transferred that stuff, that weight, that force downwards to the middle of my body. And I never really went back and did that because the plan is that Noodle will walk by the time I take him to another event. I keep saying that, but then I don't have to tweak the papoose. But anyhow. Alright, back to Cadville. Alright, so I have this piece. The way that it's going to have to mount is that this face right here is going to go facing towards my back, and this face right here is going to be facing away. And if I switch over to... There we go. So I made some spacers here that will close that gap, and there's the stand-in mounting plate. This is so far away from the mounting plate because in order for this thing that's coming out of this hole right here to clear up and over the back of the plate, it has to be this far away from it. So I made kind of a spacer piece right here. This is probably going to be connected to or part of the plate. They will be one in some capacity, so that these spacers and this piece are just sort of bracketing onto it. And And then perhaps this block is going to be what mounts onto the mounting plate. I'm not sure. But it does need to be that far away, and I don't think I have hardware that's long enough to span a spacer that's just this, like, the length of these two pieces, because that's pretty... Well, I can actually see. That is 78 millimeters of gap I would have to close. So, I don't have hardware that long. I don't think that's a wise route to take, path to take, anyway. So I'm not gonna do it. And then on either side of this thing, this is the potential space where those racks are going to mount in some capacity. But I want to figure this part out first and make sure that I'm completely okay with it. So this is going to be, since it's out so far, it is going to be pulling on this quite a bit, which I hate that has to be that way, but it does, which sucks. To show you what I mean, I can actually probably go get the part. Here. Let me show you what I'm working with, and you won't have to wonder what I'm talking about. Alright. This mechanical arm right here, yeah? So, at the bottom of it, there's this, I don't know what you'd call it. It's a thing, and that is what goes inside of this hole. And it has to go into it this way, so I can't spin this piece around. Oops. And mount it here because this collides with the lip of the mounting plate and it doesn't seat all the way inside. So it has to be situated thusly, which is okay. But this arm needs to be pointing this direction because this is the way it bends. It goes up and over the head, and since it does do that, this is the face that has to meet with the mounting plate that is on my back. So if I show you on Tiberius, my GIMP, it would be right here, and this stock will have to mount like that. So that's what I'm doing. Now the thing is, it clears the head, so long as this is mounted kind of at a right angle to the slope of the back and it doesn't conform to it like this. So long as I kind of keep it at a right angle relative to up and down in the ground, that thing will poke out at the correct angle and arc over the head properly, I'm pretty sure. So that's another thing I have to keep in mind. So I don't know if I'm going to have the plate tilted or if I'm going to have the plate also be a tangent. Well, not tangent, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if I'm going to keep this at a right angle and have it mount askew to the plate. It probably shouldn't. It's going to have to mount exactly like this, which means the plate is going to mount askew to the back, which means that I'll probably have to add kind of like an adapter piece to those hooks. And I have those in one of these documents. I may find it. There we go. This will probably better illustrate what I mean. Front. Okay, so again, right angle to the crown, I guess, is the plate. And then this is the arc, and there's kind of like this adapter piece that sticks off of it that is going to marry to that plate. So I'm thinking that there's going to be a layer in between the metal mounting plate, this thing, and say another, like my aluminum arc that I end up making, that is going to be plastic, and that is going to be my adapter, and whatever hardware bolts through this is going to kind of sandwich this aluminum with the aluminum on the other side to give it strength. This is just going to force the form to be what it needs to be, if that makes any sense. Oh. But anyhow, without further ado, so I am not sure. I'm not sure. Let me think and sip coffee while I think. So I might have to find hardware that's long enough to pull this off. Like I said, I don't currently have anything that's 78 millimeters or whatever I cited. I don't. I don't even know if our hardware store carries anything that's that long. I mean, it'd have to be longer than that because it would need to go through this material too, and this material. So I guess from here to here, it would be 91 millimeters. That's almost 100 millimeters of hardware. I do not know. And again, this space right here accounts for that bow of the metal that comes up and goes out towards the back. It's a good thing to ponder over. So I think ultimately I would like to have some sort of support underneath this that holds the whole thing up. So that would come down like a shelf, like a, I don't know, 90-degree angle triangle bit that would kind of help prop that up in some way. So this would probably extend downward just in this one place in the very center for the sake of supporting the lure, the stalk, I guess. So I'm gonna offset this to here. Will that snap? No, it will not. I'll just say 30. Whatever. That's what it's gonna be. Take these straight down. And ooh. Alright, so I'm gonna make like an arced shelf bit. underneath here. Okay. And that might be too large. I might not even need that. Okay, so I'm just gonna put an arc here. I want to put... Actually, there's probably a better way to do that. Okay, so my perfect arc is there. And I think I'm going to create... Yeah, you're just gonna jump up and down naked? Mark's being silly. He's being silly and naked. Alright, okay, so there's a good arc. Still not done with you yet. Alright, so the thing I'm trying to do right now that I'm like concentrating and getting all quiet, is I'm going to create like a little sleeve on this plate that this gigantic extruding piece kind of like sockets into, and it's gonna help offset some of that cantilevery force that it's going to, or strain it's going to put on this flat plate. That part is probably going to be a 3D printed plastic fixture that goes on top of an aluminum plate that just provides a little bit of extra support and then also helps it not look so harsh and ugly. So it's going to be structural as much as it is an aesthetic component to this design. Because again, I mentioned I don't want this to look too horrific. I say that like it matters. I don't want it to look like just a raw... Like if you saw the thing that I cited earlier that Mark has in the garage, it's just literally 2 aluminum bars strapped to a plate. And it has its own like industrial aesthetic. It's a nice piece of like a harness that was crafted by somebody. But I'm not really going for that look. That raw of a appeal. Thought you liked it raw, Sarah. Not that raw. Let's go with 16. That's 17.2. Actually, those two things are... Those are... That I'm gonna, at this point, combine with the pizza. So these two things, I'm just going to combine. Join. And then from here, okay. No, it just doesn't want to do that now. You can do it. Okay, I'm still trying to create that shelf. Why does it not want me to select that crease? No? This is the thing in question, correct? Did the combine? Yeah. Because I have a thing interfering. How goes? This thing does not like me.
What's it doing?
It's not liking me. Maybe I can do this. My computer hates that I'm streaming and doing CAD. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Seething,
You're doing all the things at once.
All holes have been entered. No. Well, at that rate, we don't need spacers anymore. And that is also okay. Hot Pocket. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of those spacers because they're no longer needed. Oh man. I think it did it for me. Oh, okay. Okay, I do want that. But I don't want you to join to everything ever just yet. How about that? Okay, join. Okay, so I don't need these 4 little spacer things anymore because the thing I just made... Oh wait, maybe I do? Maybe? Wait, don't speak too soon. Yes, I don't need them. Because this is all one piece, I can just extend the sides of this up so that they touch those holes. Yes? Mark.
What?
Touch is love.
Touch is love.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do what I just said. I'm going to extend this. Not too much though. I don't want to scare it. She's crazy. Sure. -8. just to make it a nice hard number. Doesn't seem to be... No. No. Okay, so I want to extrude that to here. I don't know if that's going to overlap. Oh, it will, because it's going to overlap with that. Cancel. So maybe I do want those weird funky spacers. Or just, I know. Stop the sketch. I don't know what sketch that is, but we're stopping it. Its crazy train got a little bit too crazy and things went bad. Here. Mark.
What?
What are you going to do now?
Go shopping.
You're escaping?
Yep. Nesting supplies.
Nesting. 5. Okay. Okay, so these two things, if I extrude them out, won't interfere with the weird awampus shape of the thing that I'm mounting to it. So this will go to there, that will go to there. And I think we're good. Okay. So in a nutshell, this thing, the shape, this shape that's in question, is going to slot into this thing right here. Wait, does that overlap? It does, down here. Okay. And why is this? Or maybe it doesn't. I know there's a way to run interference tests on this. I just... Okay. Better? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna actually do that here. Inspect interference. Okay, no interference detected. Okay. Okay, so there's no interference. Look at that. I used a tool. Unless I didn't use the tool correctly and there is interference and I only read it in the way that I wanted it to be read. That's also possible. But if everything works to plan, this thing will just slot into that weird shape that I just made as such. And this I had plans for. So I'm going to... Okay, I'm gonna do that. No, not yet. So that is a sketch. I'm going to stop that sketch. And then I'm going to... I know it's not pronounced this way, but I don't care. I'm going to fillet these two edges like a fish. Oh. 1, 2, fillet. So that they meet in the middle like that, and I make like a perfect half circle. Bam. And then I'm gonna go back to this sketch, and I'm going to draw a line like this, and I'm going to extrude that face like this, and I'm gonna click OK. Oh, that didn't do what I thought it was gonna do. No. That I'm not okay with. I want both shapes. No. You see what I'm trying to do, right? So I want it to shelf as such. Cut. It doesn't like it. Well, shucks. Okay. Market doesn't like what I'm doing. Can I do that? Well, that looks weird. I want to shelf that. Mark.
What?
It won't let me shelf.
I can't shelf things.
Okay. What am I going to do? I just like stare at the screen like, no. I don't, maybe that's not such a bad thing? I don't know. Dear me, how did I get into this crazy conundrum? Oh well, I'm gonna check the chat because it's been like, what, 100 years since I did that? Because I'm in my head trying to problem solve. There we go. Oh man, there's annoying people in here again.
What are they doing?
They're being trolly. Here.
Aww.
Put user in timeout. Okay. I love how it's called timeout. Anyhow. Hi, Vi! Look, a familiar face. Wave to it.
Vi.
How are you doing, Vi? Are you still super busy? Are you doing a million things? We're doing a million things. Oh, wait. Did I not switch it back? This whole time? I didn't! Oh my god!
So what have people been looking at?
Me.
Just your face?
Yep.
Well, that'll get the trolls out.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Cool. Okay. I'm not gonna switch the cameras because apparently I forget to switch them back. I need to just get another screen. We have other screens. That's the thing, like we have the tools, we're just too lazy to set them up. There's a screen like right there. Okay. Good. Anyhow. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I would block the light coming from those windows, but I use them too often for shooting other things. So all the light in this room is usually used.
More light here. Turn that on.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't?
Not really.
Probably helps a little.
No, it makes it more bounce back more.
Positioning.
So I don't know. I need to just get curtains. I can get like long wavy curtains that I can like pull or draw in front of all this stuff while I stream or something, but then that might be annoying too. I don't know. There's like shelves above the windows. There's no easy way to solve that. There's no better place to go and stream, and this is probably why I don't do streaming as often, because setup is such a pain in this room. All of it is used. Like, we have different spaces where we work on different things, but I don't know, I feel like getting the light to work well is kind of a battle in all cases. But hey, guess what? I'm not gonna like forget to switch the camera back to the CAD that I'm doing, so you have to see the white balance change terribly on just my face. God, I'm so sorry about that. Couple. To go. Dual. Wait, what? Dual. Kim says you have dual head to go things that I have no use for. What are those? I don't know what that is. Unforage. Haha. Hi, Michael Grievous. I am doing alright. How are you doing today? I'm doing okay, other than having forgotten to switch the camera back to what I was actually doing. So here's the thing that I was doing that nobody saw because I'm an idiot. I'm talking to you like you can see and you can't. Okay, so there's this really ugly blobby shape. Was that like all the CAD that I did for like the entire stream? I didn't show it. Is that what I just did? Probably. Great. Alright, so this shape is this shape. I made that before I started streaming. I'm trying to socket it into a mounting plate that has support underneath and support from behind, and I can stick hardware through these holes, and it's butted up against something on this side of the shape, and it's a happy thing. So these two things marry together. This part slides in from the front into this little scoop sockety thing, this little cavity, I guess. So it shoves into the cavity, and then the hardware goes through these holes from the back, and it's just sort of in place. The only thing that I was concerned about that I said that you couldn't see because I'm an idiot is the span of this is like quite a bit. So the hardware would have to go from this face to this face, and that's like 91 millimeters, which is a lot. And I don't know, do they even make hardware that's like 100 millimeters long? Do you know, Mark? Do they make?
That's long for a screw,
yeah.
So they're going to be weak. So for a M3, probably not. So, but threaded rod, you can get threaded rod in any length, and then you're just going to have to put nuts or a cap nut at one end, and a little bit of Loctite, and you can create the nut screw fastener that you're looking for.
Make a nut.
Yes, you can make nuts.
So this has to be this far away from the thing. Again, because the stock coming up and out of this big hole right here, part of it arcs back in towards the plate, and if I had the plate any closer, they wouldn't clear. So it has to stick back a little ways away, unfortunately. And I was trying to figure out how to shave off part of this so that it's just a shelf holding it up and not a giant massive, I don't know what you'd call that? Half of a cylinder, I guess? Man, I'm so mad that I did that. I've been getting so good about other things, like remembering to plug in the actual microphone. Stuff like that. Can I do this? Can I do that? I can do that. There's a little tiny oopsie piece. Just do that the ghetto way. And That's not really what I wanted to happen, but can I fix that? It's starting to look cool. Okay, that's a little better. Okay. Yeah, I like that. That'll work. Ah! Ah! Okay. Okay, so I have these two wing pieces on the side. Again, like, since I probably mentioned this when I wasn't showing the screen, on either side of the centerpiece is where this thing is going to mount. It's not gonna probably be exactly this, but it's gonna be something kind of like this. And one of the ways of mounting it is to have it coming up off of the shoulder blade like this, like an actual wing. The other way of doing it is to rotate it 90 degrees and have it coming up off the top of the shoulder, kind of like a wing, but not really, like this, and then have another one going like this on the other side. So like this, or like this. Either would work. This way is a little less desirable because these plungers have like the risk of colliding with the thing in the middle. This way, the plungers are going to be coming out of these syringe bits going down, and they wouldn't collide with anything, so this is at the moment a bit more attractive of an option if I decide not to mess with the layout of the syringes. The only problem with that is if they are going down, I kind of designed the edge of this assembly to look kind of like a feather, and if I have it angled in this direction, the feathers are pointing up instead of out like this, and that kind of breaks the aesthetic, but function is more important than aesthetic at this point, so if the other way works, then that's what we're gonna do. I think I'm going to close and save this because it's referenced in another one of these assemblies. And that's this. So if I wait for this to save and then I update it, it should pop in here and look appropriately. There we go. Oh, it is upside down. I never know how that happens when it happens. Move. But it happens. Okay. But anyhow, how are you guys doing, by the way? I asked this already in this stream, but I'm gonna ask again, and then check the chat. Oh man, I just looked down and saw, have you considered making noodle fly? Polisqualis asked. I don't know. Flying seems so much harder than walking, and walking is hard enough at this time. But maybe just attaching him to a giant quadcopter would be a faster and easier way to get him mobile at this point. Oh, thank you for supporting me in spirit, Vi. Oh, and again, sorry for the thing. Thank you for messaging me about it. I'm sorry I didn't check my phone, because that's not around me either. I'm one of those crazy people that has a phone, but I don't, like, keep it by me. In fact, like, I usually don't know where it is and it dies, and then I stop getting notifications to my computer, and it's because my phone is dead somewhere in the house, and I have to go and, like, find it and then charge it so I can, like, leave it somewhere again. I've probably said this before, but, it pisses my mom and my best friend off quite a bit because they're always trying to contact me just to chat during the day, and if my phone dies, they're like, I guess we'll never hear from her again. Watching MCU films because why not? Have you watched anything good lately, Michael? Anything new? Any interesting new films out there that are worth seeing, or old films rather? Like, We're doing movie nights these days, it seems like. Since we don't have hockey for the next month to watch, because the Knights got knocked out. Wow. Which was a week ago now. I think we're just going to do movies on the TV.
Normal people things?
Yeah, normal people stuff. Ooh, circuit theory final. Chris Gloom is studying for a circuit theory final, Mark.
Whoa.
Mark.
It's a good base to have.
Mark says it's a good base to have. I don't know if you can hear Mark. But yeah, I'll try and fix the white balance thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to really... Unless I replace the blinds with curtains. I mean, I was thinking of like putting curtains over the blinds and just normally have those up, but there's no place to mount them. But I could just replace the blinds with curtains, like blackout-y type curtains, and see if that does help in some way. How would Mark feel about that?
Wait, black out the room?
No, if I replace those two windows with like curtains instead of blinds.
We can just get the light blocking Venetian blinds.
Yeah?
They make them more opaque. It's an opaque plastic or wood. It blocks more light.
I either need them completely open or completely closed.
Or you just get some light. We have tons of LED shit, so we can make you a proper lighting rig with a couple of lights and fill in the space, and then your brightness matches the background's brightness, which makes the whole room look great. That's one light. You can't, like, that's a fail. You can get brighter lights too.
I don't want to have but I don't want to be blinded by lights either while I'm working.
Well, you put them above.
I would rather just get curtainy things or
well,
better blinds.
Then everything's dark, and then your camera boosts its level, and everything's grainy. And that's the problem. Is light.
Well, there's
more light is a sharper, colorful image. Less light is a grainy, less saturated image, and so now you just look like you're in a hole somewhere.
I am in a hole somewhere, Mark.
Yeah, but you don't want people to know that. You want people to think you're in some paradise.
Oh.
Noodle standing over your shoulder, you know, that kind of thing.
Noodles like...
So you should get a lighting system to make you... I have so much lighting stuff. I have backlights for LCDs. I have lighting strips. I have halogen. I mean, what do you want? Something we can integrate something. We have that light. We can... That's a nice blue for daylight. And then do a warm one for night.
Yeah.
That's what I would do if I were you.
No.
No?
No.
It's too much for you? Too much effort?
No, not effort. Just I like the natural light in here. I know you said you can mimic natural light.
Then you need to aim natural light at your face. But that's why I'm saying a LED light that's blue will match the outdoor blue light, and then you'll look fine.
I'm in darkness.
All right?
Here.
You should think about that.
Wait, what? Okay, I'm gonna draw more. So the other thing that I've been knocking around in my mind hole about doing, all this talk about lighting aside. See, streaming is... I envy those people who have like a second work setup just for streaming. Because like, where could I work in this room? There's like the space behind me, which is for assembly. There's my bench for soldering.
Clean up some stuff.
There's Mark's bench for soldering, and then there's the main big table for assembly in the middle that is completely covered in shit. And then there's Noodle's like room right there. And then there's my computer desk and Mark's computer desk, and there's all these like spaces, and they're used. And they have good lighting because there's like windows everywhere in this room that like kind of light all the shit. But relocating things on the spot is difficult because there's no place to set stuff. And we do have a bunch of lights in here. There's those lights, right? Those blue ones that we move around quite regularly. Yes.
Wait, what?
The blue, those things. Those lights.
Oh yeah, you could put them right here and aim them at you. They're really harsh.
Yes.
They're good for some lighting, but you want this, so you have a diffuser, right? So make a diffused light out of what we have. And we have diffusers, we have LED panels, we got all kinds of stuff. So I would make something that fits on the desk, or get a second one of these and then put it on the other side.
Everybody's getting to see the awful way in which I sculpt drawings on the fly. I'm gonna say these are my arms. They're just like tentacles. Oh god. Streaming. I remember I started streaming in the fall of last year. Last year? So like over a year ago, year and a half ago.
Right.
And I got all the streaming stuff. I think it was because of SuperCon. Like I was at SuperCon and everyone was... I was asking everybody about it because everyone was talking about their streams and how it was going. And it seemed like a lot of people had started doing that for the first time. And I was like, well, maybe I could do this. So I got all the equipment and I got set up. And then it was hard. It's easier now, but it's still hard to set up. I think if I had $1 million bajillion, I would have a separate workspace that was already set up for streaming, and I could just go and sit down there and be like...
Have a studio?
Yeah, like a streaming studio. So...
But then all your tools wouldn't be there, so it's hard. It depends on what you're doing and what you're streaming.
I've kind of like...
You want somewhere you can move the camera rig, so maybe putting hooks over each space, then you have a camera lighting rig that you can move. And
yes.
Then go cast in that spot, but then you can take that gear that's all mounted to one thing and move it to another zone, right?
I should have
I would do that.
I don't know. Sorry, you're just being a dork now. Here, I should have multiple tentacles. Anyhow, where was I? Okay, so I'm making this. So one of the other things I was playing around with in my mind brain was so I have this hook thing that goes over the shoulder, right? I was thinking of the part that's on top that's likely to be plastic, having it be hollow in some capacity, since the part that goes over the top isn't really structural at that point. The structure part is in the back, where like the slope of the shoulder curvature is like mating to the 90-degree angle of the mounting bracket. Like that part's structural, but like all of this other stuff like on the top, if I choose to even extend it that far, doesn't really like provide any purpose. So I was thinking of making it hollow, and then like right here I would probably make a little light diffuser and have like a little cyberpunk light, so that like right here on either side of my shoulders there'd be like a little glowy bit, and then potentially, if it didn't interfere with the neck thing, that sucking thing that I'm making right now that seats about here, and luckily I have like a ridiculously long neck, so I can fit more stuff than is humanly necessary between my chest and my chin. There's gonna be bulbs there. I could put lights on the top of the shoulders, or even like little wing things if I wanted to, that stuck out like a Gundam or one of those big fighting robots or something. If I wanted. So that's another thing that I might do in CAD now. And those lights would be red. What's wrong with you, Sarah? Everything. Don't put on your red lights. Mark, what color should my marshmallows pulse? They're gonna go back and forth between two colors.
Pink, red.
Just two. So should it be from like pink to red? Or should it be from like cyan to red? Or
cyan's
pink.
a good, whatever contrast the red that's already there that makes it look brighter. So cyan.
Maybe like green, like one of these greens.
Sure.
Don't put on your red light. Pulp. And that's gonna be aluminum. And this is gonna be a dark gray. And that arm that I pulled up a minute ago and then never switched back down to the fucking desktop view because I suck is like a dark black color. Not black, dark black. Like a dark gunmetal gray. And then this girl right here, she's that color. That's me. It's my inner color. It's... I don't know what you'd call that. It's just bad everywhere. It's like a grayed flesh, pink, mauve. And then my hair is the color of dirty bread. That's too dark. Mark, what color is my hair? Dirty bread.
It's a dirty blonde.
Dirty bread.
Dirty bread.
Yes.
Banana bread.
Banana bun.
Raptor bread.
And my eyes. You know what that is. An eye. Anyhow, so yeah, that's what we're going for. Speaking of helmet heads, I need to get my hair cut. Perfect. Okay, so this is what we're shooting for from the side. And then with any luck, the backpack bit, well, whoa. The backpack's gonna seat about here, as it does already right now. So it probably can't even really go that low. It's gonna need to sit here. Oh man, I don't know if those two things are gonna collide. I don't know. We'll see. Mark, do you think I can fit everything in this space right here?
With what? Just the pumps?
The pumps and the stock.
Well, the stock could be a thing in between the pumps, right? Like
That's what I'm doing.
Mount.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, it'll fit. You're fine.
Think so?
Under the backpack, you mean?
No, like between here where the pulps are gonna.
Yeah.
The
Pulps.
The pulps.
Wow.
The suction cups.
Yeah.
And the top of the backpack.
Yeah, it might collide a little bit. You might have to. You might hang the backpack off of the mount that you're doing, so that it's all. Like
Okay.
Make a whole bracket, and then the backpack will be straight, right?
Yes.
And then then the straps can be just decorative. Like you might still leave them there, but or integrate that into the strap is the same as what your is the metal thing, right? So it's all one thing.
Yes. Maybe. I kind of want the backpack to be attached on the bottom here so that it's not just hanging straight down. It does have that angle that's like this.
You maybe bring it up and out and straight. That way your pumps kind of overlap just a little bit. I don't think that looks good angled like that. It looks sloppy. It looks schleppy.
I like it angled.
Well, that's all. Okay. That's what you get. I'm not gonna argue.
It looks like a backpack. That's
okay. I don't find it aesthetically pleasing.
But
You're the sculptor.
What?
You're the artist. Your decision is final. Oh my god.
What?
IKEA has a burb rug.
What?
It's 2 screeching parrots on a rug for $200. Holy crap.
Do I need it? Is it a rug? Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this heinous whatever. Okay.
What's your chat?
My what?
What's the chat on your stream? YouTube chat?
You have to go to the YouTube and then click on my channel stream thing. If you follow me, it should pop up like when you go to YouTube. It'll be like, this person's
Streaming
talking
now.
Yes, doing loud things with their face now. Here's a
Why
save.
no?
I can hear myself talk. That's weird. Alright. Back to CAD. Are you sharing? I don't think you can share links, if that's what you're
You
attempting
can't
to
share
do.
an image either, can you?
I don't
Well,
think.
there's emoticons.
Wow, I can hear myself. This is weird. Capture position.
Alright, make cables. Alright.
Please. No. No. Okay. So I drew something and to explain something, and then I never explained what I drew. Let me go back. I drew this terrifying amalgam. I mentioned lights. That's what I was talking about. I mentioned inside of the plastic embedding some like landing lights here. So that's one of the things I can do since I'm 3D printing it. I can actually like make it hollow and put some light diffuser material in there, which I think I might do because why the hell not? Sarah was a boat. Boat. Oh. Okay, so I said I'm gonna use 3mm aluminum. Aluminum nom nom.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Alright, I'm gonna go get my errands done.
Where are you going? Where are you going? We have banana bread. I think that will be my lunch. Okay, so this thing that I'm drawing right now is going to represent my aluminum. Aluminum. And that can't be a fancy shape. That's just going to be whatever the stock is. Are you going to extend? Oh, it did extend. We're not going to join. That's going to be a new body. Okay. So that's the aluminum. Probably even change the color of this. Should we? Should I do it? Should I bother? Where are you going? Why? What are you getting? Are there more? There's more? Are you fucking kidding me? Getting back to the beginning of this stream, while we were getting warmed up, I mentioned this terrible thing that happened to us this week, this story about our door. What? Our front door and the window of, well, like, all of the windows, all of the holes that go into our house are infested with these little shitty, like, fly things. But they're not flies. They don't even really fly. They have wings, they just kind of like I've never seen them fly, but they have wings, and they're all over the place by the door, and they just sort of sit on things. And I don't know how they end up on me, but like, I'll be sitting somewhere in the house, and I'll just feel something crawling on me, and it's one of these asshole bugs. And the bedroom got, like, wrecked with them. Like, the past 2 days. Awful sleeping, because it felt like things were crawling on me constantly. Render. So we had to, like, delouse part of the house yesterday, and that was part of the evening, was just trying to fix fix it. Alright, so I'm going to make that piece aluminum looking because why not? Aluminum. Aluminum. Okay. Yay. Now it's a different color, and I won't forget. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna start doing from this point on is I'm gonna start actually painting the parts that I know are going to be metal, the metal color, so that I can see what I'm printing and what I'm actually milling out of stock. If that makes any sense. Of course it does. Shh. Alright, this big chunky piece is going to be printed, but the plate beneath it is going to be aluminum. Why are these separate entities? Okay, and then I'm going to shut you off, and then I'm going to get rid of you. Wow. Why is it not wanting me to do that? Cut. Huh, it does not like it. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure why it does not want me to do that. No tangent body found to cut or intersect? Wait, really? Oh, it attached that. Oh. Wait. Oh no. Oh, that's because it's a... This is on a different... Oh, okay. That's this. That's a different... It's a different thing. Okay. Okay. So I can do that here, right? Right? I'm not losing my mind? Yes, okay. Alright. Fuck. I hate when I, like, import shapes into assemblies and then I do shapes in those assemblies and then I like, try to edit something that's just been, like, inserted into that file and it's like, what are you doing? That's a ghost. This is a ghost in that file. Okay, so I tweaked that. It has holes. Probably put some holes down here too, but I'll do that later. Alright, let's save that. And then if we go back to this and we update it, this giant chunk will actually fuck off, finally. Sorry about that. I get confused so often. Okay. So we can turn this back on now. No? Oh. Oh, okay, I see. I see what it's getting at. Okay. Okay, okay. Interesting. Huh. Okay. I'm messing everything up. That's bad. I need that for now. You. No. Okay. Let's try that again. The confusion intensifies. I think that is what I wanted. Okay, so... how thick is this? Five. Alright, so this is now 3 millimeters thick. If I render this and make it the color I want, then you will see that this is also an aluminum close model. There we go. Let's make it shiny. Will it? I don't know if it will, because I've never done it before. Here, if I choose polished aluminum, does that have any bearing on how it looks? Not really. Okay. Fine. Well, at least I know that's my aluminum plate. So I'm gonna save that, and I'm going to update this, and hopefully it fixes or does what I think it ought to. Maybe? Cool, it did. That makes me happy. Alright, so the two lighter gray pieces are my aluminum, and the darker gray are going to be 3D printed. So if I zoom in here, this plate is a flat piece of 3mm aluminum. This is a bent piece of aluminum, 3mm aluminum. It's probably going to be difficult to match this curve precisely, so I might have some like spongy stuff in between to kind of close the gap, because I don't have a lot of faith in my ability to bend metal with a vise or otherwise. This part's gonna probably be... I don't know, this is gonna take some trial and error. But we shall do our best. I will do my best. Me. Raptor. Capture position. Okay. I'm gonna try and insert those lights. Not that that's in any way needed, but I have issues. I have issues and tissues. How could I do that? I'm gonna meditate on that. I don't really know what that's gonna look like yet. Not sure. It is an unknown. What I could do is say, extend this to 16mm? Yeah. And then if I do how to continue that. Offset. That looks like it's 10. Yeah. And then just continue this directly into the termination point. That would do something. Okay, so this could be a cavity in some capacity where I could build in some like windows with light diffuser material and then have LEDs jammed inside of there so that the straps on the top would light up. I don't know if that's necessary. It's probably not. It's probably way a bit overkill. Like 3, 16, 18, it's 20. So those straps are like this thick. As we're It's probably not the end of the world. That's not too bad. 19 millimeters. It's not bad. I wouldn't want to make them stick up off of the shoulder any more than that, though. I'm gonna check the chat, because it's been a minute. Hey, guys. Hey, Maker Block! Clicking the things. Oh. Ooh. Everyone's seeing Endgame. Michael Grievous says he saw Endgame. I haven't seen any of the Marvel movies, so I'm just gonna skip that one. I know. Crazy, right? Oh, cool! Hi, Dano Webb. Happy you made it to the stream. Not that anything super exciting's happening here, but we're glad to have you with us regardless. Hi, Chris Gloom. Base. Trying to find... Studying... Alright, I'm caught up. How are you doing, Maker Block? I haven't asked you. How have you been? I bet you're preparing for Maker Fair. I'm gonna take a wild guess. I know you're going. James Driscoll, you mentioned the light pipe. I actually bought some of that this morning. That was the first thing I did. I was up for 20 minutes, and I somehow managed to buy that, like, a bunch of it real quick before I even, like, had coffee in me. Which was good or bad, I don't know. Oh, I should change. Should I? Vi says I should share the bad drawing with the Discord. I need to do that. I haven't been in the Discord in a minute. I don't know why either. I don't know what like, if I think back for like the past 2 weeks, I've been busy. I haven't been terribly social because I've been busy. But I couldn't tell you doing what. It's just been a lot of different things. Betty Rubble? I don't know who that is. I need to look that up. I'm not going. Oh yeah, you guys are talking about the infected area. Oh, and Vi saying, I guess you're not going over there for a little bit then. Haha. Now we're still trying to keep them in check, I guess. It's been an ongoing battle since like last Thursday, I want to say. We started seeing them like popping up, and it wasn't too bad. And then it just exploded, and now there's like a million of them. We spray the inside and the outside of all the frames of the holes of the house every evening or afternoon, and then we'll vacuum up all the little bug bodies like before we go to bed. But then like in the morning, there's a fresh batch of like a million of these little black, like grain of rice looking fly things that don't fly very well. I don't know what the hell they are, but they're fucking annoying. But yeah, not last night, but the night before, while I was sleeping, I felt shit crawling all over me all night, and it was one of the worst experiences ever, and I couldn't sleep. So yesterday I was out and about with my mother, feeling like a zombie, because I didn't get any sleep. And then I came home in a rage, because I was tired and angry, and I took all of the stuff, and I washed everything, and vacuumed all of the insect animals up with the vacuum cleaner. And Mark sprayed Raid like in the bedroom, which was stupid because then the room still smells like bug spray. Not super strong, but it's not pleasant. I don't know. It's just, normally we don't have bugs here in Vegas, like zero. Like no mosquitoes, no nothing really. You don't see them that often, but every so often, like when it goes from being hot to cold or cold to hot, things will decide to come inside because they're uncomfortable and they run amok and do bad things. But yeah. The hook part makes me think. Ha. Good day. Oh, sleep well, Michael Grievous. If I missed you, I apologize. Overkill blinkies are always necessary, and I agree. Doing a workshop on vacuum forming. I think YouTube blocks links, otherwise I'd post. Aw. Cool. Vacuum forming. Is it a workshop? I didn't know they did workshops there. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Cool. Yeah, hopefully Mark and I see you at Maker Faire in the future. Like, we haven't really, like, I don't know, we haven't decided on a project to potentially do there, and him and I are kind of in this... We got to the point where we only go and do conventions anymore if we are doing something at the convention, which is weird. It kind of, like... I guess it justifies the cost of travel and, like, going someplace, since it tends to be kind of expensive. We don't really have a place to stay in the Bay Area anymore. Back when we used to do Maker Faire, we had a friend who lived in Cupertino, and we would stay with them because they were super nice and let us hang out with them for the weekend. But they moved, so we would have to find a place to bunk while we were out there, which would add to the cost of already lugging a bunch of equipment out to display. So it's just something we haven't really found the justification to do in the past couple of years. But I miss it, because that's like one of the best events to go to as far as catching up with friends goes. In the future. Cool. Nah, they aren't carpet beetles. They're not dark brown with beige stripes. They're like black. They look like black. They're long like grains of rice, like slightly, and they have like white transparent wings. So they're like black and whitish, or black and transparent, I guess. They have this, I don't know. They almost look like they could be flies or gnats, but they're too long to be gnats. And they're too not round and buzzy to be flies. I don't know what the hell they are, but they're all over. They're all over that end of the house. So like, as long as I stay in this room, because I think this is like one of the newer rooms that's been added to the house, and I think the windows have better weather stripping and protection on them. Nothing really gets in here. I'm safe. So I do this horrible, irresponsible thing where I run away from the rest of the house and ignore the problem, and it doesn't get any better because I'm evading it. Except for yesterday. Yesterday I went crazy and washed everything and vacuumed. Still here. Aw. I'm pretty new. So get your sleep, Michael. If you're tired, then totally go to bed. Like, go dream of some good stuff. Can you explain? Conzio asked, can I explain if all those creations are part of the same suit? Yes, they are. That's an easy question to answer. All the wearable things that I make on this channel are part of the same project right now. The only other projects that are active right now that I'm working on are a robot of mine, Noodle Feet. So anything robotic is typically related to him, and anything wearable is related to this project, which is called Shiban. And I think I've got links to all that on my on everything. Well, here. Yeah, I'll get a picture. I'll take a video of the door outside if I'm brave enough to approach it, and just film like the crook of the door, and you'll see like a zillion of them like doing their shitty buzzy fly thing. and maybe somebody will know what they are. Not that it matters. Like, they come every spring, like every other year, and it's like really annoying for about a week, and then they just vanish and are gone. So it's like just a matter of toughing through it, because once it gets hot here in Vegas, everything just dies. Like, by the time summer comes into full swing, like, everything that can casually exist outside just sort of fucks off and is dead. Except for scorpions. Not sure if those are maybe post a photo on Twitter. I'm not sure. Hiring you for shitty badge add-on PCB art, by the way. Oh, Vi, totally. Yeah, have them contact me in any capacity. I don't know if you got I think you got my email address, or Twitter, or anything. Like, I have plenty of time to do side work these days. That's like the depressing thing about this year. I applied for like a zillion different gigs, like all over the place, and nothing has panned out so far, so it's bad because I'm not going on any exotic adventures. It's good because I actually have time to focus on finishing up projects that have just sort of expanded outward and not had as much resolve as expansion, like a noodle. So I can focus on me stuff. Yeah, bugs thrive everywhere else, it seems. Their life thrives everywhere else, it seems, right? That's like one of the only perks of living in the desert, is that it's inhospitable to life, therefore there isn't a lot of it. Which is bad if you like looking at birds and other naturey things that you could share space with, but good in the sense that not a lot of stuff to compete with as far as sharing space. And me personally, I hate mosquitoes, so I'm gonna switch back over to the CAD. Me personally, I prefer it here. Like, I've lived many other places in my life, and of all of them, I kind of I like the way that it is in this climate. I like the way that it is in this city. Other aspects of other places are most certainly better, like as far as culture or social setting or just other things are typically better in most places, but it's a good compromise as far as what I need as a person. That being said, I would totally welcome the idea of living someplace else for a while. I just probably would come back. I would come back. Okay, so how am I going to stick these unnecessarily blinky-do lights into these shoulder pieces? Am I going to do it the same way I've been doing all of my other stuff? Or am I going to do it differently? Thinking. That might work. Then that wouldn't take away from the structural integrity of the thingy. Sorry, now that I'm staring at this, I'm thinking. See, I have this like certain way that I do my like my light diffusers. Like on everything that has light diffusion inside of a container, part of the Shibon project, I do it like the specific way where I basically have a sheet of light diffuser material, like a thin plastic, and it's sandwiched between two plates that kind of, they have a slot or a groove on either side that holds that light diffuser sheet in place. And you can't do any like very organic curved surfaces with that, but I'm not really going for that look with this project anyway, so if I just, I guess, stick with that, it would do the trick. I guess the question then becomes, if this is 16, that would be less than 16. This would be 10. So in 10 millimeters of space, could I fit LED strip and that's it. And my material. Yes, maybe. I do have LED strip on this table. So the funny thing, like Mark and I share this work table that's this way. Mark's side of the table is filled with receipts. My side of the table is filled with tissues. I don't know if that means I have allergies or not. I think I just have a generally runny nose. Here's some LED strip. How thick is this shit? This is 2 millimeters thick. Okay, this is definitely enough room. I don't know if there's enough space between the two to diffuse the light. So the only risk of just having this inside of the enclosure is that it's going to be, you're going to see the points of the light. It's going to be like spotty. Noodle says it's okay. I'm happy that this is coming along, though. Like, this is definitely a lot more than I had this morning when I first started molding this piece, or CADing this piece. And again, I do apologize for forgetting to switch down to the desktop view. I don't know. I think I'll try and resolve the light before my next stream, and I'll also try and set up one of our auxiliary monitors on the table. And maybe get rid of all the tissues on my side of the desk and replace it with a second screen so that I can at least see what you're seeing and the chat constantly instead of having to switch. It's weird the things that you like make do with in life just because you're busy with other things. Because like there's certain things that they've been an inconvenience in my daily life for years, but I've just kind of built up a method of coping with them. So instead of changing them or taking the time to like fix it, I just sort of become numb to it. You know what I'm talking about. We all do that, right? Right? Oh, here's another question since I'm on it. Should I put the light facing out, like coming up off of this face, like this? Or should I have it coming out the sides on this face and then potentially opposite of it on this side here? I guess that's the other question, because I think either would have an interesting effect. I don't know. Because I'd have to decide that before I do my next move. I'm definitely going to play some TF2 like later on tonight. Does anybody else play TF2? Like, that's like one of those weird games that I've been playing for like forever, like since I was in college, I want to say. Because it's been around forever. Like ever since they released it for Mac, I've been playing it that long. Like it's the game that no matter what I'm doing in life, I will run back to it, like at least for a few weeks a year, and like regain sanity through its insanity. I think I am gonna do the light on the top. That is to say, coming up and out, because then I can just use light strip. Or no, I could still use the light strip. I guess it wouldn't have to necessarily be facing out. I could do either way. Oh. No, I think it'll look I could do both. I could do both. Huh. How cray-cray do I want to get with this design? So I've done crazy shit like this with some of the other augments. Like the, I don't know if I've ever shown it, but the most recent version of the beatbox, the salmon crotch piece, the salmon cod piece, has a lot of glowing facets that use light diffusers on like the edges of surfaces and stuff. And I had to get really creative with the frame structure that holds all those little light diffuser pieces, but the payoff was really nice. Like the finished piece is kind of lovely to look at. It was just a bitch to CAD, but since I've done it once and I know what went into doing it, I could probably pull it off with this shape a little bit easier if I so chose. Maybe? Salmon punk. It's another thing I did last week. Like last week I worked with L-wire pretty much exclusively, and I think once I get the outdoor like professional quality stuff in the mail, I'm gonna put together a build log of how to make a neon sign like I did, because it was pretty easy and it seems like it's gonna work out pretty well. But you do have to get the outdoor stuff, and there's a difference. Mark at Blue Man, like they used to have a prop in the show that used L-wire, and they sourced this like professional quality L-wire that was brighter, because one of the biggest like downers of using L-wire is that it actually in fact isn't that bright, especially if it's daylight or you're indoors or in any light whatsoever other than pitch blackness. It becomes less exciting if you're in a lit room. And I think the slight kick of the professional grade stuff will give the sign that I made a little bit extra oomph. And at that point, I'll probably, I'll document how I did it. Okay, I'm gonna commit. Sorry, I don't mean to keep yammering. Can I do that manually? Okay, 10. So 10. No. Didn't want to do that. 9. Thank you. Okay, and then the channel needs to be. I don't remember. I believe it's. I'll be right back. I gotta measure something. We'll just do another millimeter. Or 0.8. So that would be 8.2. Yeah? Okay. And then I have to close these off. So following that line, 1 millimeter. No. Jerk. This line, 1. No. Also not correct. Why aren't you listening to me? Line. Here, we'll just... Screw it. It's gonna be sassy like that, then I'll just force it. Okay, so that's roughly... those over, whatever. Okay. Don't care. Okay, so this thing right here, that's the channel. It's like, it's going to be a slightly deep groove that the light diffuser material is going to kind of seat inside of on either end. And then this will be a cap. Maybe even that too. New body. I'll make that 4 millimeters thick. Did it obey? New body. Okay. So that is 4 millimeters thick, and I'm going to turn this sketch on again, and this groove that we created is going to -2. Cut. Does it not want to? Why? Why? I'm offended. Alright, let's turn all of those things off just so we can look this thing in the face. Okay. Oh, this isn't connected at the end, so that's problem-y. No. Also not what I wanted you to do. Is it gonna make me? Oh, I hate when it readjusts. That is not, like, anyone else find it really aggravating when it force adjusts? It like repositions the screen thinking that it's helping you and it's not. Okay. There's our groove. Okay, so that's the channel, and this probably doesn't even have to be so thick. There's the channel where the light diffuser material is going to slot. So if I slowly turn these layers back on, we don't need, that's our aluminum piece, that's our 3D printed guide and plate adapter, I guess. What is that? Oh, and then those are just old versions. Okay, so this is seating on one side, and then I'm going to mirror this thing and put another on the other side. Not faces, bodies. This body. This face. There. Okay. And then I'm going to move this so that this point touches. Nope. That's not correct. So that this. You know what? Screw it. This point touches that point. Okay. There. Okay, so this slot is going to be where the light diffuser goes, and then beneath it, that is where the light strip will go. This piece right here, this plastic piece, how thick are you? 6 millimeters thick. That might not have to be quite so thick in that part. Because that 6 millimeters is pretty thick. I might reduce that by 2, and then I'll have a little bit more gap in here for the LED strip to seat, and then the light will be able to diffuse a bit more, because I really don't want there to be bad like light points going down the shoulder. And then I'll probably have, this will terminate in some interesting way. Like I'll probably create a little light, like a light bulb container thing for the end of these tracks. I don't know, something that looks kind of like a bike reflector or something, or like a bike light. I don't know, like one of those little fin things that pokes down. I don't know if I'm describing that very well, but that'll probably go on the end, and it will sit right here on the chest. So I'll have like blinkers. It occurs to me that I'm not going to probably be able to wear this thing with any of the bras, because they're all kind of big. Maybe not. Like none of this stuff, like I don't think I'm going to be able to put the entire outfit on in its entirety off the get-go, or from the get-go, off the get-go. I think that the first iteration of all of these exotic things that I'm making, they're not going to be compatible with one another, like from a wearable suit sort of standpoint, but I think that, I don't know, further iterations will strive towards that, but these are all still, I want to say like the first version of everything is just a proof of concept at this point, so it is what it is. But I'm gonna switch this back to my whatever, and I'm gonna message Mark and remind him to pick up my motors. Okay. And look at me remembering to switch back down like a good kid. There we go. I'm gonna check the chat. Oh, here, you got them. Good, good, good. Good pizza. Cool. Quinn says flat on top would be good. LED strips are easier than the front. Yeah. Join them. Yeah, you're right. I agree. It would. Everyone seems to agree that front lights look best. I agree. Oh, cool. Danji says that they also play TF2. Yeah, I think anyone who's ever played has like a zillion hours logged. I can't believe it used to be paid. Like that blows my mind. Like, I only ever played when it was, like, free to play, and it was just a free-for-all crazy fest of, like, collecting hats and doing dumb shit, of which I have a bunch of hats. Like, I don't know, like, every so often, I want to say once a season, I'll spend $5 and get, like, 2 keys for crates, and I invariably get something valuable that I can then sell on the market for, like, a decent amount of money, and then I spend all that money on specifically cosmetic items for my pyro, because I play as a pyro. I actually have, like, a TF2 shrine on my desk, and I got one of the little chibi box guys in one of the blind box things, and I dressed him up like how my pyro used to look. I had the jingle bell, I don't know, bullet vest thing that jingles when you run, and the googly eyes, so I put googly eyes on him, and then I wear the cone. But now my pyro looks totally different because I have better stuff, but like for a good minute, this is what my guy used to look like, and this is like commemorating that. The only other game I play as much is if anyone else plays Splatoon 2, which is the best game ever, for like, I don't know, getting your like Vandal fantasies quelled. I play Salmon Run on that like every night. Like before I go to bed, I have to collect salmon balls. And then I can sleep well. Team Forest 2. Both. I see those are shoulder hook things. To answer your question, Fluffy, the mounty plate is going to be on the back, like in this right here. So this gray part is going to be attached to these hooks that are going to go over the shoulders, and then I still might add a goofy light on the top like this, and then I think the one on the tip I'll most certainly do, and those will probably just be like solid red always. I just want to make sure that this doesn't interfere with the neck thing that much, because this giant neck ball thing sticks out quite a bit. The suckers are like probably about 60 millimeters deep, and they come off the neck like this, so I run the risk of them colliding with the shoulder pieces if they stick too far up off of my my skin. So even though I'm adding in the rails and the capture pieces for the light diffuser and the LEDs, there's like a pretty good chance I'm not going to do that because I might not have room. Because at the end of those marshmallows, there's going to be tubing coming out of them as well, so there needs to be a little bit of clearance for that in addition. And then the tubes are going to run to the back here, like this general area, so there'll be like tubes coming up off of the thing. 3D print the light diffuser with translucent PLA in order to get more organic shapes. I could. I don't know, like I use this gray light diffuser, and I like it quite a bit because when the lights are off, it blends in with the rest of the 3D printed shapes and looks like it's suddenly part of the form again. So when the LEDs do turn on, it looks like part of what you thought was a solid 3D printed shape is actually in fact see-through and has light in it, and it creates this sort of neat, unexpected effect. I don't know what kind of plastic it is, but it's about the same quality as like the gunmetal gray PLA. And I try to use, I've been using both because that seems to be the motif of these wearables. Diffuser. Ninja Flex, trim sufficiently translucent, well not perfectly clear. I haven't played with Ninja Flex yet. We have it. And yes, Kim, I did say Splatoon, which if you play it, it's the best game. I love Splatoon. Yeah, I'm the same way, Dan, with the Splatfest. I only play the regular game mode when they're doing a Splatfest. Other than that, it's just the, they have like a firefight game mode called Salmon Run, and it's addicting. Like, once you get to the highest rank, it's really hard, but it's fun because you're playing with people who know what they're doing and are really good. So even though it's incredibly hard, you are still managing to not wipe or die or fail, and you get that adrenaline rush. So now I'm just like addicted to getting like an injection of adrenaline into my face when I play it, because it's good. And you have to collect balls. It's a ball collection game. You have to go and get all the little orange salmon balls into the bucket because the creepy bear man told you to. The creepy bear man. Red and green to match your... Ah, good observation. Mr. Bong said the lights should be red and green to match the nav lights on the bra. That is a good idea. I think I'm going to stick with that as well. That was an unexpected, like, completely unplanned accident with the boob lights. One, like, I understand why they do it, but it wasn't planned. But one, its resting state is red and one is green, and someone, or many people pointed out that that is the nautical correct colors for port and starboard. So I think my boobs are now port and starboard, and everything else is an accent or a light accent. If there's a left and a right symmetrical side of it, they'll also match. So I'm gonna look like a boat. Gonna be a boat. Boat. Where might I find my Switch friend code? How do I get that? I actually don't. I've never added. I have one friend on Switch, period, and that's Vi. I don't know if Vi's still hanging out with us, but he's like literally my only friend on my system, because I don't know. But if you instruct me how to get the friend thing, I will get it and post it in a minute here. Oh, cool! Danji, you're also high, says they're also high in rank in Salmon Run, and it's so much nicer playing with friends because you can coordinate easier over Discord. Yes, usually do Salmon Run for drink tickets. That's awesome. Yeah, Salmon Run's, it's like one of those things that no one else I know plays it, but like if I'm playing a game at night, it's usually that, and all of my friends know that, so they'll just ask me, like, are you salmoning? I'm like, yes, I'm salmoning. It's good. I want to keep the a white back if I want to keep the aeronautical scheme. I gotta read about that just to make sure I cite it properly. A white light for back. Somebody mentioned that too. See, now I gotta consciously integrate it into the design now that I'm aware of it. Have to go to friends, and there should be a string of numbers and stuff for friend codes. Page icon thingy in the top right. Right, left. Okay. Alright, I'll look it up. Friends. Okay, that's annoying. It's like, I mean, I understand why they do it, but it's trickier than most systems. Anyhow. What was I doing? Oh, I was gonna get coffee. Shit. Hopefully it's not cold. Alright, I'm gonna go grab more coffee, and then I will get the numbers, the friend numbers, and then you can add me in a thing. Or I'll post them in, here. I'll post the Discord link, and then I will post my friend thing in Discord, and then everybody can add me, and I'll remember to add people back. But yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go do that. And then when I get back to the computer, I have to add this thing in to the thing that I just designed. Yeah. This is where it's gonna get hard. So I did all the easy stuff, and now I'm going to make it unpleasant, and I'm probably gonna open a beer here in another hour if I'm still doing it. So if I'm still fretting over adding the rack by like 3:30, 4 o'clock, then happy hour starts an hour early. Oh god. Okay, I'm back. This is like the longest number ever. Ah. The correct position scheme for that kind of. Wait, what? Any light should have 120, but I think it's enough to keep the correct position. Well, at least 10. Okay. Anyhow, I found the friend thing. Let me open Discord. I don't even have it open right now. God, I feel like a jerk. I remember at some point, like, a week ago, I had to close everything to, like, get something to work, and then that was it. I never opened any of my social crap back up after that. It was just me doing work during the day, and then trying to escape from work during the night, and then fighting bugs. That's my life right now. Fighting bugs. Yay. Copy. Okay. There. There's the link. I invite you guys to join if you have not. And then in my thing, which I need to catch up with at a later time when I have time. Here is my thing. Cool. Alright. I have sent. And yeah, just message me in Discord if you want the, my friend thing, I guess. Friend number? My friend's serial number? God, that makes me feel like a robot or something. I'm all like writing down this chain of numbers and letters, and it's like, I guess this is my friend designation? Shit. Same goes for TF2. I don't know who else plays that game anymore, but I definitely do. Yeah, that's my, I'm winding down with a beer game for sure. Like Mark and I think we had date night on Saturday, and we went out for sushi, and our sushi place has all you can drink sake. And we strategically got looped on sake and then came home and played TF2 so we could be equally as obnoxious on the microphone as all the other players are, because normally, like, I don't have the energy to be that big of a pain in the ass. But if we drink a little bit, then we're good. So, it worked. But anyhow, where's my obs? Okay, I'm still showing the right thing. Alright, back to the design. I mentioned that... Oh man. There's all these pieces. Okay, there's motor, drive, assembly, and then there's lever mount. Okay. Okay. So those are my arm shoulder pieces, tentatively, with space for light diffuser if I choose to go that direction. And then there's this plate here on my back. I'm hoping it's in the right position. I think at this point it would be wise to print some of this out and see if it's even lining up where I think it ought to. I mean, I did kind of test it out with this thing, but I mean, it's probably still not enough testing. That's actually... that. Which I cut. It's actually probably not a bad idea. I'm gonna print one of these sides just because it's a convenient enough shape. Actually, we'll take this one. I'm going to copy and paste it. and turn everything off for the moment except for it, and I'm going to reduce it, or maybe I won't, it's only 3 millimeters thick. It's probably good. No, I'll reduce it by 1. Okay, that'll probably be enough. All right, I'm gonna print this, because this is my rough shape, right? And I'm going to see if this still fits the curvature of my shoulder the way I think it ought to, and then I can also get a feel for how big that back mounting plate is because of this flat face. Granted, I'm probably gonna have to go stand in the bathroom and try and look behind me into the bathroom mirror and get a sense of how that's working out for me. But it'll at least let me know that I'm on the right track before I commit too hard to any of these shapes and dimensions. So let's save this as an STL. Let's save this as... That's probably fine. Here, you guys can look at me for a second while I set this up, so you don't want to see me attempt to oh god. Oh, that's right, I have like a 1,000,000-hour print going right now. Alright, well then I'm not gonna do that now. Fuck. I'm printing the next set of sorry, I'm trying to get back to someplace meaningful. There we go. Okay. I'm trying to print the next blah. Okay, so these things, the rack and pinion assemblies, they're like, I think 5 different parts. 2 silver pieces, and then the rack and pinion are black PET, and then the cap for the rack and pinion plunger thing is also PET. So I'm printing the silver pieces right now on the printer. 4 of each set said it was going to take 8 hours to print, so that's not going to be done until like 7 tonight. Because I started it like right around the time I started the stream. So yeah, I don't get to do anything else for the rest of the day, which is fine. It's just, it is what it is. I'm gonna rename this so it doesn't get buried. Okay, so these are my capture pieces. That is a mounting plate that I'm not using. I think that is my aluminum. Aluminum shoulder hook. What is this? That is shoulder hook adapter? Sure. That's what that is. Sure, we'll go with that. And then there's that. And then, oh, how am I going? There's that thing. It's the bracket mount. Ooh. Mm-mm-mm-mm. 15 degrees? I could do something like that. So that would be like this. That would be like that. So the only problem is the plungers would be poking out, which is probably good. I wouldn't have to worry about them colliding. But then the syringe tubes would be going in towards each other, which might not be such a bad thing because I could have them overlapping. That's not doable. That might be doable. Yeah, that might certainly be doable, maybe. So the other thing I could do is I could have this thing... It's a little better. I could have this thing do something like this. So they would go down and it would flank that line, contour, whatever. Because I think from, if I look at this from the top, those ones in the back are actually seated higher up than the ones down here. The question is, would they clear? And the answer is no, they would not. They would bang right into that part, so that's not a good solution. I could do something like that. There's a way that I can make this a bit easier on myself, and I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to open up this assembly and turn all of the things on so that they're actually there standing in place for the thing that they're supposed to be standing in place for. So that's this. I'm gonna turn all the rack and pinion assemblies on, which are these guys. Oh no, why are they rotated weird? 90. Okay. That looks about right. Okay, so this is the plunger fully extended. So this is roughly about the amount of space that this whole assembly takes up. So this will help me visualize a bit better whether or not I have part interference. If I remember correctly, I had a difficult time getting... So I think if I update this, it won't update correctly for some reason, which is why I turned them off. But we'll see. They might just obey. So if I... Ah, yeah, see? Isn't that nuts? So I don't know why those are, they're offset by that amount, and I'm not quite sure why. It's like, what's that? Can I move them inside of this? No, I can only turn them on or off. That's annoying. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it does that. There's probably some explanation, I just don't know. I don't know why it's messed up like that. Maybe if I'm gonna re-import those assemblies and like just delete. It's doing something. See, this is how I break a bunch of shit in my thing, and then it no longer works. Because I see things popping up here. It's like, wait, what are you doing? Don't do that. Stop. And I'm doing it anyway, because I'm a horrible monster. I guess I didn't have to delete those. I could have just turned them off and then imported new ones, but we'll see what happens. All right. $90 point to point. Oh wait, this is rotated incorrectly. And now point to point. There we go. Is that correct? No, wrong point. There. Okay. That is the correct point. I feel bad I didn't mention this from earlier, but the boards that, I think the last time I streamed I did board layout with Mark. We sent those boards out on Saturday to Fab, so they finally got completed. Like he completed his and I finished the 2 I was working on, and they're in Fab now, so I'm thinking we'll have them in another week to 10 days. I posted some screenshots of what they look like done on Twitter, I think. But they turned out pretty nicely. All right, let's see if this does what I think it ought to now. Yay! Cool. Okay, so that's okay, and as you see, there's definitely totally interference. Like massive interference there. Okay, so it does make sense to have these angled the way I originally kind of thought they're gonna have to be angled. Let's free move this thing. Which was more like, I think more like this. So the plungers would be going down and out. And the tubes, the whatever, my pneumatic tubing, I guess, which would be coming out the tips of these syringes, will kind of be going up towards the center. Aluminum shoulder hook, where are you? Yes. Okay, so if I copy and paste these. Me and all of my laziness. Okay. Okay, we've got 2 shoulder hooks. It seems like if that is the peak of my shoulder, then there would be some syringes poking up over the top. They would be blocked by the mounting plate, but I might shrink this down now that I know what it needs to be and what's expected of it. It looks like only a portion of it would be overlapping the actual aluminum mounting plate. I don't know if I'm okay with that. I don't know if it matters yet. I guess I could do something really funky. Wait, oh god. And have them mount straight up and down like this. And perhaps a little lower. Like that. So that is another option. I think that that would probably barely poke up over my shoulder muscle. We never figured out what that was called. I don't remember. There was a point in my life when I was like an art student where I could tell you what all of the muscles and the body were named, because I used to fucking know that. Oh, because they teach you that in life drawing. If you sit in rooms drawing naked people for hours and hours every week, they also consequently teach you what all of the body pieces are called, so that you know what they're talking about when they point at the thing you're drawing and they say, no, that's bad. There's no bulge where the trapezius muscle is supposed to go, or the whatever muscle, and you go, ah, yes, you're correct. And then you visualize where that lump of meat would go underneath the skin and you add it in. I don't remember any of that stuff though. I just know that this is probably going to go up to the crook of where that muscle, the trapezius, twists around on top of this muscle. This is the trapezius. So this is going to uncomfortably kind of rest and mash on top of the trapezius muscle, and hopefully not be so cumbersome that it makes me not want to wear this thing. And I don't really know how heavy this is going to be. The arm that mounts inside of this socket right here isn't very heavy. It's just, it is long, so I want to make sure that it stays put. And I'm probably going to put some sort of key in to lock it in place, to just make sure that once it's in that hole, it's not going anywhere and it doesn't slide around or swing or anything like that. Okay. I don't know, what do you guys, I'm gonna check the chat here in a second, but what do you think of the up and down shoulder blade, like just straight up and down shoulder blade seating like this? So that's, the plungers would go straight down, and then the tubes would come straight up off of the mounting plate. And again, this would probably be, how do I rotate this slightly? Nope, that's definitely not it. Can I kind of coax it? This would probably seat a bit more like this. So if you're looking at me directly from the side, this would be kind of the angle it would be seated at, roughly. So it wouldn't be going straight up and down, they'd be kind of tilted in based on the slope of my back, if that makes any sense. And the light would be here. Here, how about I do this? So I'm gonna screenshot this. Actually, And I'm going to add that. Oh, there's the chat. I said I was gonna check that, didn't I? I did. Oh man. Uh-oh. Topher has opinions. Can I ask you a question here? Yes, you can ask me a question here. You may ask away. Martin from Winter did a very good Fusion 360 video about arranging huge numbers of bits on one scene. Yeah? I need to write that down. What would I need to like just Google on YouTube? Arranging many bits in Fusion on one scene. Yeah, it does weird stuff. Like once your assemblies go inside of assemblies, and they're layers deep, things start to like act funky. And I'm sure there's like an explanation, and it's entirely based on like what you're doing and you aren't aware that you're doing. It's just, I don't know. I don't have my brain wrapped around the entire piece of software yet. Oh, Vi has coffee. I have coffee. Yeah. Super important. Oh, that went right in my lap. Oh god. Oh, it's cold and wet. Damn it, I cleaned up all of my tissues and now I have nothing to like... That goes in my shirt. Did you translate them at some point in their... Probably. I probably did translate them. They probably got like flipped or something or mirrored, and I don't remember at what point I did it, and then they got... That's like what it's referencing from like the past. I don't know. Cool. Thank you, Mr. Bong, for linking me the video. I'll check it out. I definitely... There's a lot for me to learn on Fusion. About Fusion. I want to say this, like a month ago, it was the 2-year anniversary of me learning it. I picked it up kind of by force, like one of my friends kind of sat me down and got me started on it, but I wasn't going to switch, but again, it was probably one of the best things I've done. That being said, it wasn't until about a year ago that I even really grokked what the parametric thing was all about. And it's been sinking in slowly ever since. And yes, DanoWeb, the plungers will be independently controllable. So there's going to be 8 plungers, and they each have their own dedicated motor. In fact, Mark is picking up the other 4. Like I built a rack of just 4, like one side, first, and tested it just to make sure that they do what I think they ought to, and they do work. They're not super strong, but I mean, they're relatively cheap servos, so for the money, it'll do for this first proof of concept. I'm not going to build the second rack of these. Oh, I'm going to build the individual assemblies, like that's what I'm printing right now, for the rack and pinion, like, controller mechanism, but the mount that they all seat onto, this is liable to change. So I'm not going to make another one of these until I have a better sense in CAD what this needs to transform into to fit on the back properly. And I might not need to change this, but if I can make it look cooler and make more sense, then I'm definitely going to do that. You could do a circle activation where suction 1 starts and... Yes, I'm gonna do a bunch of different massaging things with the motors. Like once I get them all working, I'm going to have different patterns of suction, like undulating like this, or like a sine wave. I'm gonna play around with it and see what works and what looks good and what feels good, but I have to get my controller board in, which is the thing that I streamed last Sunday or something doing, and they're en route. I'll have them soon, and then once the controller board, the motor controller board is here, and the calamari, which is the LED board, is here, which will visualize what the suction cups are doing, I'll be able to start playing with it and making it do meaningful things to my throat. Yeah? That's the good thing. Good night, Sarah Marking. Oh, cool. Have a good night, Photo Chromax. Sleep well. And enjoy the rest of the week. Fluffy Floofer asked who pays for projects like this. I do! But, I do a tremendous amount of, grant writing and residency proposals, so sometimes I do get a little bit of supplemental... I don't know what the fuck that was. Yay. Random noises from outside. Sometimes I do get a little bit of supplemental funding from outside, depending on what I'm working on. But as I mentioned earlier in the stream, not a lot of support this year. But no, I tend to pay for all of my stuff. And my patrons. My patrons support me. My patrons, I have to say, like, my Patreon money, that's my exotic R&D fund, always. So all of the support I get from my friends and my patrons goes towards all of the things that I want to play with that I'm not quite sure are going to work. I'm building up an arsenal of shapes and things that will eventually get funneled into a project once it's appropriate. But yeah, to answer that question. Never tried Fusion. Currently using old Z Modeler 2 for my and it's digitally equivalent of a hammer and chisel. No, Mr. Bong, like, totally, if you can, you should definitely try Fusion 360. Like, one of my friends, somebody who cares about me, had to actually, like, practically drag me kicking and screaming by my hair to try it, because there is a bit of a learning curve if you've never used a parametric modeling program before, which I'm not sure how the Z Modeler program works, but if you're willing to watch a few videos online and get a feel for it, it was like the best thing I've ever done in my model making, shape creating life. I would suggest the best way to get over the learning curve is to take a shape that you've designed already, like the most complicated shape you've ever designed in CAD, and then make yourself model it in Fusion. Like, watch a few videos to get a feel of how it works, how you would go about building up a shape, and then once you think you know where you'd start, just do whatever, like, look up whatever videos you have to just to make that shape that you've already made. And then once you've replicated it, you're probably good. Like, you know enough. But you need to, I think, have that thing that you're familiar with already, is kind of a, I don't know, like a goal in mind, like a goal thing that you want to create before you get started, so that you have something you're working towards and you know what questions to ask. Exotic R&D funds, yes. That's like all of my R&D funds are weird things. But yeah, anyhow, I'm gonna switch back to that awful thing that I'm doing. I don't know, I think I'm okay with this. Oh yeah, I was gonna do, there's like things I'm remembering and forgetting to do. Where is it there? No. I wonder where it went. I'm gonna dig around on my desktop for a second. Which is a tremendous mess. Ah, there it is. It was there, I just didn't see it. There we go. Okay. I'm a dork. Okay, so that's gonna seat about there. If I invert this so you can see it better. There you go. There you go. So that's roughly what I drew and what I've made. I think that's gonna do it. I think that'll work. One second, I need a tissue. So there's probably a bit more depth to my body, but you get the rough idea. I don't know how far it's gonna actually stick out once it's on me. Like, I think my goal for the week is to actually get this mocked up to a meaningful point. So I'm probably going to print those shoulder hooks and the mounting plate stand-in, and probably finish up the other rack of servo motors and mount these to that, and kind of mock up everything. Even the parts that are going to be aluminum, I'll print those as well as stand-ins, and then put the whole thing together minus the big, heavy, uncomfortable piece that sways around, and see what it looks like. And if I'm totally happy with it and kind of confident that it's going to hopefully work, then if it looks good and feels good, I'll make those metal pieces. I'll start bending the aluminum, which I don't know, it's going to be an interesting thing to do. I don't think I've ever actually bent a piece of metal before like that. So I might actually I might stream that whenever it happens, just as like a entertainment bit. I'm gonna probably get help with that so I don't hurt myself. Or I might just have Mark do it, I don't know. Mark! Yup. That kind of looks like wings from the side. Like if they were kind of down, which I like. You have to here. Oh, hey Apitech. How are you doing? Some of them took 6 months. Wow. You used to build cars from GTA mods? Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty amazing. Any type of fabrication is like impressive as hell to me. That's like the thing I'm most interested in. Like ever since I went to art school, but ever since I got into actual like physical shape fabrication, I was kind of done with everything else. Like up until I was about 23, I just did illustration and printmaking and painting and stuff. So I did a lot of like drawing flat things. And I mean, I always kind of tinkered and made little sculptural things on the side to my, you know, for myself, and never showed anybody. But once I actually got my toes wet making things out of metal, particularly things that moved or were like mechanically actuated, and that's all I ever wanted to do after that. That was kind of like the sweet sauce that I needed in my life and was missing forever. No, you're right. Fluffy mentioned putting weights in the prototype, so I have a sense of what it actually feels like. I'll probably very carefully put that stock in on the hole or whatever in the piece, and I think so long as I don't like move around a whole lot, like the plastic version will probably hold up just fine. And then I'll get a sense of how it actually works. And then again, if it does break, then I'll know where the weak points are, and I can enforce those a little bit more as well. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna try it on and see how it do. But speaking of, here, let me dig this out of my computer. I'm looking up a piece of, it's a concept illustration for the thing that I'm making next after the suction cup choker, I guess the suck choker, whatever I'm calling it. So the next thing I'm making is called the lure. Here. It's not its name. But I'm making this arm thing. So I have this giant arm, and it's going to kind of curl over my head like an anglerfish. And there's going to be a lantern hanging from it above my head, which is going to not weigh a whole lot, just because I don't like the idea of something heavy hanging over my head. But I'm going to fabricate like a probably a thin-walled plastic lantern with, I'm creating like a kind of like a glowing filament bit for the inside, and there's going to be an arm that arcs off of that that's counterbalanced, kind of like a mobile. If anyone's familiar with how mobiles work, they're like you know what it's like a balanced piece of metal that is not symmetrical and kind of sculpturally can kind of pivot on one point. There's going to be a mobile arm coming down that has a camera mounted to it, and it's going to look at my face and it's going to tell what my facial expression is, and based on what I'm doing with my face meat, it's going to affect what's displayed inside of the lantern. So that's what this thing is that I'm working towards. But this mount had to share space with the syringes for the neck thing, so it's probably one of many of the augments for this project that are going to have to actually share space and overlap. These are going to probably in the future become less of individual things, as they are going to become like a suit. Something that they're all part of one thing that I put on, or a few things, and they're just sort of inside of it, like a Gundam or a big mech. But for now, this is the thing that I'm building. Like I have the lantern modeled in Fusion, and I think I am gonna print it just to see how heavy and or light it is. And I started building a pan tilt mount for I have a webcam, so it's another thing I've started working on already. It's just this is kind of the tricky part that I'm afraid of, is this mount. I want this to be pretty solid, because otherwise none of this is gonna work too well, such as it is. But anyhow, the art of bringing what's in your head out in the world. Yes, that is the most fun thing to engage in. But anyhow, I'm gonna get back to the CAD doing. I don't know, I think I'm pretty... I did switch back over, right? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm like paranoid now. So... this definitely doesn't look like it would have any interference issues. So that's the nice thing about keeping all of the angles of these syringes on one plane, is that I'm pretty damn sure that it's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna run into any weird issues with the plungers colliding with my body or other augments or this stalk thing that's coming up out of my back. So if I mirror this assembly, it's this. Modify, mirror. Dear God, that is terrifying. But yes, that's what I want. Okay. Oh, I hate it. We'll just put you in rough proxy. Negative 85? No. Looks about right. Oh man, why did I do that? Why? Okay. Yeah, it does weird stuff, but whatever. Okay, so there's in rough proxy where they would be both racks of servo motors, the mount for the lure, and both shoulder hooks. So it's kind of like a jetpack, which I'm kind of okay with. And I think I do like them in that up-down position. They kind of look like wings if they were folded up, which I'm definitely okay with. I guess one of my secret inspirations, and I didn't realize this until probably like yesterday night when I was going to bed. When I was younger, I used to play 2D fighters a lot, and I used to play this Mark's home. Or that's a solicitor. The fuck? Oh yeah, he's home. Okay, good. I'm like, who the fuck is hanging outside the house? Whew. No,
Still streaming?
yeah. I'm almost done with the assembly though. Yay. So I used to play this 2D fighter called Blaze Blue. I doubt anyone has played it before or even knows of it, but if you do, awesome. That would make me pleased to know. But this particular 2D fighter, there was a character in it named New, who was a little robot girl who had a creepy high-pitched voice, and she... Ooh, thank you. My motors are here. So there's another rack of motors that I get to assemble probably tomorrow. So this creepy robot girl was named New, and if you Google New from a game called Blaze Blue, which is B-L-A-Z-B-L-U-E, it's a weird name, but whatever. She was this levitating Gundam female who fought with these robot wings, and each wing was made up of about 4 or 5 of these blades. And these floating blades, like wings, would sort of levitate behind her, and she would send them zinging out towards the enemy and attack from a distance. So she was a kind of a projectile fighting style character, and I played as primarily her, and that was it. And I don't know, these definitely remind me of that. So I'm sure buried in my subconscious somewhere, like my young spirit was pinging my memory of that character while I was putting this together, because I was like, ah yes, they can be like feathers, but robot feathers. And my subconscious is like, yes, Sarah, robot feathers indeed. You know exactly what you want to make. You want to be that robot girl. In which case, yes, I do want to be that robot girl. Here, let me find it on the interwebs. Sweet. I will totally check out your channel, Mr. Bong. Totally. I'm checking chat real quick. Huh? Blaze Blue, but never played it. Oh, cool. Dan G says he has heard of Blaze Blue, but hasn't played it yet. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess it's an old game now. It's like 10 years old, which is nuts, because I remember like the year it came out, like it was yesterday. I was like a youngin' back then. Like, I think I just started college, and I just got a PS3. I think it was one of the first games I got for my PS3. And PS3 was old by then. It had been out for a while. I think it's when they first came out with like the slim version of the PS3 that wasn't like that giant ass honking box. And I got that. I waited until that one came out, got it, and then picked up Blaze Blue. But yeah, I was gonna look up the character I'm talking about, because it's no fun when somebody references something and doesn't actually show what they mean. So, here. So I think this, I used to play as this girl. She was like a terrifying child robot girl, and she hovered in the air and had these knives that she would sort of control with her gestures. And she also had like knife feet too. She's a very pointy bird-like robot girl. And I think my heart was sort of channeling this character when I started laying out the Syringe assemblies. So, yeah, I don't know. One of these days, if I get a capture card, I will definitely do a day where I invite my friend Matt over and we'll do 2D fighting Fu against one another, and you can, if you are interested, watch us fight each other. Because I played this game with quite a few people. I think I had the most fun playing against him. We were good opponents. I was gonna say components. Him and I were very good components together. But yes, so that's what I'm talking about. But anyhow, let's see. There we go. Except now my feathers are pointing up instead of out or down. I guess that's okay. I think the only thing left to do is to decide how this actual plate is going to manifest. It probably makes sense that it's just plastic and kind of boring. I don't know. I could add a spacer to it and then angle it outwards. To show you what I mean. I could make a spacer that angles these out from the center. Because that would collide with my back. Probably something like this. Or maybe not as dramatic, but they could definitely be presented more like that. Probably not as dramatic of an angle, but they don't have to go flat on that part. I don't know, I have decisions that I need to make, so I will probably do that. But it's like 3 o'clock at this point, so I'm probably gonna call the stream finished, because this is what I wanted to achieve right here. I successfully made my shoulder mounts and I adapted both of the critical parts of 2 different augments to the mounting plate on the back. And without printing any part of this yet, to know for sure whether or not this is going to work, I'm gonna call this probably good. I think once I start printing parts of this and I have enough to show, I will post pictures on Twitter. But until then, I don't know, I have other things queued up for the printer to make. As I mentioned, I'm making another set of 4 rack and pinion assemblies, like, over the next day or 2. After that, I'll probably start printing those shoulder hook parts and at least 1 stand-in mounting plate that I can tentatively connect this to, and that mount piece for the lure, that big stock thing that's over there somewhere. But until I do that, yeah, I threw the link in Discord, but I'll put it up again here. Ah! Too many windows. Ah! There we go. Here. I invite you to come hang out with us. Oh, Dan G said he played Guilty Gear himself mostly. I played Guilty Gear too. What character did you play as? Before there was BlazBlue, which I think was like the descendant of Guilty Gear. I think the same companies made them back then. I don't know who owns them now, but BlazBlue was like the spawn of Guilty Gear, like spiritually. But I did play Guilty Gear up until that point. I think that was probably my first 2D fighter ever, leading into BlazBlue. I might have said just now that BlazBlue was the first one, but it wasn't. It was Guilty Gear. There was like a solid year before BlazBlue even came out that I played Guilty Gear with a different person, an older friend who kind of got me into 2D fighters at all, period. But yeah, I played as oh my god. I played as Slayer and Zappa. And I don't even know if they're still up on my site. They might not be. If they're not, I apologize. But I went through a phase where I used to illustrate arcade stick art for the faceplates, and everything on my site. In which case they might not be. No, they are not. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about it. Cool. But yeah, thank you for joining in with me, and if you want to hang out with us in Discord, you are more than welcome to join in. We can talk about 2D fighters and stuff more there. Yeah, and I'll try and dig up my old illustrations that I used to do. They're pretty cool, they're just not on my site anymore, and I didn't realize that. But anywho, again and again and again, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for keeping me company and making suggestions. I always appreciate all the things that everyone points out that I don't realize, because, yeah, I'm still learning. We all are. And I'll check out the channels that were suggested. But if I don't know, throw the link in at me again in Discord so that I find where I'm going. But yeah, take care. Take care, Vi. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna go have a beer. And I'm gonna end the stream if I can find the window. Where is it? Ah, here it is. All right, see ya.